standing CS member of FaZe Clan.
There's actually another guy on the team called Rain.
He is known for having some of the most insane aim in Counter-Strike.
Weapon, they're ready, but so is he! Rain! That is absolutely ludicrous! Oh my god, what the hell was that? What in the blazes was that?
He was just hitting so insane shots with pistols. He's never scared to take a duel. He's never scared to fight. And I just never met a guy like him.
He's beloved by just about everyone.
It's fine, bro. Giga chat.
To know him.
Nobody hates Rain. Nobody ever said bad thing about Rain.
I really take inspiration to that.
He never gets upset. He's just really calm.
He's like the identity of ACS.
He's gonna go down in the game as one of the underrated GOATs.
But what some might not know is the uphill battle he had to fight to help pave the way for what competitive Counter-Strike has become today.
He's been the pillar of the team since 2016. The core component and key player that they can always rely on.
FaZe look to change the history books. They would be the first international team to ever win a major.
We thought it was impossible, and Rain believed.
This is a story of a legend, known as FaZe Rain.
Hello everyone, this is Apex from Vitality. And
Bro, I can't believe these ads are still running on YouTube, bro. Like, come on, man, YouTube.
Today, most of the Counter-Strike teams are comprised of international rosters where the players from 2 or more countries are combined. So it's easy to forget this is a very new thing. For years, organizations dreamed of drawing talent from across the world and building a fabled super team.
Switching to an international roster just gives you a lot more options on the players you can pick from.
But every experiment failed miserably.
Cultural differences can be hard sometimes to figure out how people want to do stuff.
Today's video is sponsored by Rain GG. Rain is one of the fastest growing CS2 case opening sites. Besides fun case openings, they offer game modes like case battles, upgrader, and doubles. Rain gives players free daily, weekly, and monthly cases. If you sign up with my code Loba, you get 3 free cases and 5 deposit bonus. The site supports instant deposit and withdrawals using skins or crypto. If you want to try Rain, click the first link in the pinned comment and use code Loba to claim your rewards. Please remember, loot boxes sites can be addictive, so make sure you're over 18 and only spend money you can afford to lose. Good luck.
The international super teams were deemed.
Yo, what happened with Blame F, bro? Is he still like playing Counter-Strike? Blame F, he like disappeared. Ah, he plays for Fnatic, bro. That team still exists?
Possible. In fact, no international team in history had ever won a major until 3 years ago. That is before one man became the glue to build the world's first successful international team around. But to figure out how he did it, we are going to need to go back to where it all started.
G2, right?
When I met Rain first time, normal.
Didn't it start with No, G2, with Kinguin. Right? Rain played in Kinguin, that's where it started. Wait, King... Started with this, right? Or am I crazy? What was it? What was the name of the team? It wasn't FaZe. Am I crazy? What was the name of the team? Wait, Rain. What was the name of the team? Was it Kinguin? Was it? No. Yes, it was Kinguin. But what year was that? Yeah, Dennis, Fox, Rain, Michaela, Scream. This is when it started with Rain. 2015, bro. Oh.
Norwegian guy from Norway. Just happy guy.
Brocky, bro.
I grew up in a very small city called...
Bro, will Brocky get a team now after this roster shuffle?
Flora. That's where I was born and raised. I was probably a little bit of a kid, I don't know, blowing up mailboxes, and I kept everything very hidden from my close family, of course, but I had a really good childhood growing up and good parents with very good values. And I grew up in a very sporty family, where there's hikes every Sunday. You go do other stuff than sitting on the computer, and I played a lot of sports growing up. So me sitting on the computer until 3-4 a.m. every night, it's definitely not something they approved of, but how it is going now, they changed their mind when they saw my first paycheck coming in, so that was all good.
But Rain's parents weren't wrong. There really wasn't any money in being a professional gamer yet. But despite that, Rain's passion for the game led him to continue grinding to become the best.
I never really thought about going pro, because before all this money into CSGO came, I don't think you could have lived a very comfortable life in Norway playing video games for a living.
He wanted to continue chasing his Counter-Strike dreams, but with no clear way to make a living playing CS in sight, he knew he needed to pursue a more practical career path.
In Norway, it's very big to work in oil, so I went to something called industrial line. You work on mechanical stuff. What I was doing was mainly to end up on an oil rig somehow.
But instead of finishing school, Rain took the year off and worked at a grocery store while playing CS in his free time.
Bro, imagine you knew Rain from back then when he did this. Oh my
At this
God.
time when he joined his first team, London Conspiracy.
The first time I heard about Howie was probably London Conspiracy.
Behind, gets the second. Oh, lovely play. Rain has a hat trick of headshots.
The team was pretty
I
good.
remember him from LGB because that's when he played with Paulie. And I used to talk Paulie all the time, and Paulie used to play in FPL. And it would be me, Paulie, Mystic, and Rain. Wait, let me see. Am I wrong? I think I'm not wrong. Wait. LGB, right? LGB, let me see. LGB matches. When was this, bro? 2015. Let's go back. Let's see here. Paulie, this guy. Paulie, and I remember him, Jacob as well, yeah? But it was as well, how can we see rosters? It was Mystic. And then I would Mystic and Paulie, and Mystic would join with me on fucking Paulie. And we would, Rain would join in as well, and we would Paulie. And I would play even, face it back then, in like, you didn't have like now, they have 10 queues and stuff, broken stuff. Back then you had one queue, and everybody queues, and you would meet Rain, Paulie, Mystic playing 3-stack, and I would play with Issa and Robinasti. And I would always bully Paulie, especially on Couple. He was playing drop. I would bully him, and then Mystic would join with me, bullying him, and then later I played it with them in FPL as well.
And gave him the platform to highlight his talent at a pro level. But still, the money wasn't there. And Rain was running out of time to find a way to make his dream a reality.
Financially, I didn't make any money back then. I just felt like my life was wasting away, and that's when I was like, I'm gonna quit Counter-Strike.
And right before giving up, he got a call.
Suddenly, we got an offer from Kinguin, and that's how I got my first salary. I could show my parents, like, okay, I make some money here, so I just want to keep trying this for a little while, and it worked out. When I got the call to come up to Kinguin, it's pretty special. Remember, I was still working at the time, and I got the call, and they were like, yeah, we have a tournament in Sweden in a week. So I was just calling my boss, like, yo, I can't come to work. And they were like, you better come to work or you're gonna be in trouble, you know. I was like, nah, I quit. And normally you have to give them a few weeks notice, but I didn't show up.
In 2015,
Bro, my G. He just didn't show up. My G.
Bought out of his contract and then signed a deal with his first ever international team, Team Kinguin.
I started my career was very special. It was definitely like a dream come true. Going to my first LAN, I was like, oof, better not f this up. This is amazing, you know?
Needless to say, Rain definitely didn't mess things up, unless you're referring to what he did to his opponents.
It all comes down to one bullet and a frag.
More than the fact that Rain and the team was good, they were historic. By being the first international team, they were pioneers in the industry. But this didn't come without challenges.
Of course, in the start, I think everybody that comes from a national team, it's hard to start in English because certain words you kind of double translate in your head and then the information comes right. So definitely the communication part was a little bit of a struggle in the start, and also dealing with all different nationalities. That everybody has like a different personality, right? So you have to kind of adapt a little bit. I can't be my full Norwegian style. It was not going to work. So you kind of have to adapt and make sure that everybody feels included.
It doesn't look possible here. Rain gets 3 kills though. One bullet left on Patrick gets the quad kill. Are you kidding me? Rain, he picks up every single one.
The team was good, but they lacked focus without a clear leader. So Rain was appointed as the IGL due to his ability to stay level-headed and thinking clearly in high-stake moments.
I did not want to IGL back then, but at the same time we didn't really have any options, and I felt like it was the best way to do it. We basically had only stars. Nobody had any experience from IGLing before, so At that point, I think it was the right decision, but it went pretty well. Like we had really good results, and I'm just gonna say we should have won versus Envy in Cluj, and we probably would have ended up winning the final as well. We had a win streak against Navi during that time.
Ladies and gentlemen, Kinguin to take down Virtus Pro on the third map of the series. You've seen it here first. You gotta wonder if it's gonna be the last time ever.
Kinguin was on fire, but just 4 months into being a team, they get contacted by G2's founder and CEO, Carlos. G2 was in need of a new CS roster and wanted to prove that international teams could work. So a deal was inked with Kinguin where G2 would get the roster and Kinguin would be the team's main sponsor.
We feel really prepared as a team, we feel strong, we feel confident.
Reigna's newly rebranded G2 team went on to have a good run, but there was turmoil amongst the
what the hell, bro? What the hell?
We're strong, we feel confident.
Reigna's newly rebranded G2 team went on to have a
bro. P90, bro.
Good run, but there was turmoil amongst the players.
Oh, but this banana looked better. I don't know what you guys think. Imagine they bring this back. I mean, it would be fun with the monitors, but making it a bit wider and having these things you can hide around.
Turmoil amongst the players behind the scenes. And less than a year later, something would happen that would not only shake up things at G2, but it would go on to disrupt the entire industry.
Quickly ban.
In January 2016, FaZe acquired the entire G2 roster. At this time, FaZe was only known for having a Call of Duty team.
I want to talk about FaZe Counter-Strike. So a lot of people, if you guys did not know, we announced a Counter-Strike team yesterday. It was pretty awesome. There's actually another guy on the team called Rain. There's a guy on G2 called Rain. And you guys might be like, wow, that's confusing, that's funny, but no. Let me tell you guys why that is the greatest thing of all time. 2 Rains, let's go!
Rain and Rain headed off instantly. And after the news broke that the G2 team had moved over to FaZe Clan, the anticipation to see them play couldn't have been higher.
Come on, Hovard.
You wanna do it now?
Yeah.
Howard? You. What the was that? He's one of the best in the world. Go follow him on Twitter in the description at FaZe_RainCS. He's a really nice dude. I love all the pros, so hopefully I'm supporting them this weekend. MLG Columbus. It's the first ever CS $1 million tournament, so it's going to be amazing. Hopefully you guys are watching and supporting FaZe. FaZe the f up, guys.
Rain felt at home at FaZe, but after multiple org changes and interpersonal issues, the team as a whole had a hard time getting dialed in. They went on to take 12th place at MLG Columbus, in 9th place at Katowice, followed by a slew of other losses.
We're still waiting to see if FaZe is a team that actually can make it deep in a major, can win best of 3 series, etc.
FaZe looking sloppy in all sorts of places.
This would be hero level of performance if he comes up with the goods, and already Fallen looking for more codes there is there to back him up, and there it is.
The team seemed to be imploding, showing up at tournaments as mere shells of their former selves, with the exception of one player, Rain.
Damage to help out. Rain coming in, he gets one more kill for the quad with 4 health left.
He really is the Iceman. There, once again, when his team needed him, he is the man. If you want to count on like some kind of individual performance, you look to him on FaZe. He always
Rain reminds me so much of Hunter. I don't know why, but Hunter and Rain to me are like the same type of dude. Everybody likes Hunter. Hunter is always consistent. He's not the star player like, for example, Nico. And then you look at Rain, he seems like the same guy. He's not the star player, but he's always there, always performs, and everybody likes him. And he's a nice dude. I met him in real life in Real Log. Straight up, a really nice dude.
Comes through in the clutch. He always seems to deliver.
Yeah, FNX is choking from behind. Oh, but they line. Oh, Rain! He steps down. Oh, what a shot! It's an ace to finish the half.
Rain continued to be the bright spot on the roster, but the team wasn't performing, leading to roster changes just a few months after joining FaZe. And brought in Kerrigan as FaZe's new IGL.
So when I joined the FaZe Clan, kind of the idea was that everybody besides Rain can be replaced. Basically.
What? What? What?
And brought in Kerrigan.
Yeah, Rain reminds you of Spawn. Yes.
As FaZe's
Hunter is consistent, bro.
New IGL.
So when
I like this.
Joined the FaZe Clan, kind of the idea was that everybody besides Rain can we be replaced? Basically, that's how it went from day one. They wanted to build a good team. They wanted to make sure I'm the captain together with Rain about who's gonna play in the team and how we're gonna keep pushing forward. So yeah, Rain was the only exception. They want to keep him for sure. And I understand, because he's a very different beast and a very nice team player to have in the team.
Bro, I didn't know about this. I didn't know about
I haven't yet
this.
had a
That's
chance
dope.
to talk about FaZe and what they have been up to in this 36-day break. So they've made some changes. Alu and Keo are once again sent to the sidelines, but they have been replaced by some very scary names. Titans of the game themselves. Olaf Meister from Fnatic, and you get to see Na'Vi's Guardian filling the roster as well. When you look at this on paper, Yanko, would you...
Bro, this was the best. This was the best time in Counter-Strike. And you want to tell me now, when you look at CS2, like CS2 is better. You ain't got any team with this many personalities and good dudes and fun dudes. Like, what you have in mentality? Apex. Airdrops. So I was boring as no aura. In Na'Vi, you got nobody. Nobody, except maybe Bit. Bit is like, okay, he has some aura. Spirit, Donk. Right? And other teams, who can you mention? Nobody, bro. Like, look at this. You had this. You had Fallen with the SK Gaming, Coldzera and everybody. You had then... Mouse was sick back then as well, right? Who you had else? You had Fnatic. You had Nip. Bro, you had so many happening. Now, it's like... And then people want to say CS2 is, like, better. Like, you got nobody you like, whoa, bro, these players played. Like, the highlight of CS2 was now when Simple came back and played the Major. And even then, the numbers were worse than in CSGO 3 Majors, right? And actually, Blast Major had lower numbers than Copenhagen Major. So it's like, the game ain't going up, it's just going down.
You ever?
Even the FaZe CEO tells me, hey bro, like the numbers on third-party platforms everywhere are like 60% down. Everything's down. Cause like we're scared to see what's gonna happen with CS if it's gonna like implode, because everything's so bad. But you go on Twitter and everybody's like, game is great.
If I asked you 6 months ago, said, is this roster ever going to happen, you'd have probably laughed at me.
You look at this roster and you have 3 of the 5 players were in the conversation for the best player in the world.
FaZe put together one of the most lethal teams in the world. Kerrigan, Guardian, Olaf, Nico, and Rain.
FaZe have done it. They are your E-League champions. All in one position, and Guardian makes it just nice trying to find the flash. FaZe dominate New York in 2017.
Bro, look. This is what a woman can do to you. Look. Look at Nico here. Money and a woman. Look. Woman changed his style, changed his jewelry and money. He got money, then he got the woman, and then the woman changed him. Now he looks like a gangster, you know, like he got those like branded clothes, he got a chain, he's going to the gym, you know, this look at him here, bro. Look at him here, bro. What is this? What is this haircut, bro? What is this haircut, bro? What the f is this, man? There's a money and a woman, and a different man comes out of you.
Dominate New York in 2017. They look so good.
The FaZe Super Team started performing incredibly well. And even on the roster with some of the best players in the world, Rain remained the backbone of the team.
Rain, I think, is definitely up there as the best player in the world on overpass.
Rain's influence has been huge across the board. Entry fragging, closing out rounds, pistol kills, everything.
I mean, I feel like I was a star player for sure. In the way that I was playing, I think I performed very well. But there's also something about playing with better players that you don't want to look like you're worse than them, right? That's how it has always been. I'm very competitive. So even if I'm playing with freaking Nico, Olaf, Guardian, I still want them to be out-fragging them on the server. It's just how I am as a person, I think.
Rain in the middle, right in front. He's going to get another couple of sprays. He still hasn't even taken a single point of damage. Now, oh no, another quad kill. 19-0. He's already got the one ace.
Why not try and get the second again? He's ready for it. Stewie right there. He's gonna give it to him. He will.
This FaZe lineup goes on an absolute tear, looking to win their third big event in just 3 months.
Area. This is the end of the line for Mousesports. FaZe, after a massive best of 3, shut down the dreams, desires of Mousesports.
Perfect. $250,000, guys. Congratulations.
Rain seemed to be at the peak of his career, and the wins kept coming. And it was like they could do no wrong. The team was on an all-time high.
Having been here for this long, do you feel like at this point you're at the highest you have? Yeah?
Look at the guys I'm playing with. Guardian, Olaf, Nico, Kerrigan. This is the highest team I've had, and this is probably the highest I'm going to be as well. And this is probably the highest I'm going to be.
Bro, and he built a body as well. He was like chubby here. Now he looks like a tank, bro.
Welcome, esports fans. We're in Boston for finals day of the E-League Major. It's going to be absolutely intense.
Rain, with the rest of the team's confidence, was peaking coming into the Boston Major. And how could it have not been?
FaZe was always gonna be the favorite team in this event. It's hard to ever see a team like that losing.
Team's confidence heading into the Boston Major was really high. I think we consider ourselves the favorites by far.
But little did they know it was going to be their downfall. See, the only team FaZe was really worried about was SK Gaming.
Back then, playing versus SK was always hard. They had a lot of good players. They had a style that kind of countered the way we play.
They dominated 2016, but they've yet to win a Premier in 2017. They've done it now. SK.
The previous year, SK won 6 Premier events and placed top 4 in nearly every LAN they attended. So when FaZe found out SK was eliminated by Cloud9, they were relieved. They did not take the North American team seriously.
Coming to the major final, I remember Rain is tweeting some stupid online that it's gonna be easy win against Cloud9 tomorrow.
I think Finn has been reminding me for the last 7 years as well about these tweets that I've been making. Back then, before the final, the day before, it's gonna be one quiet.
Here it is gonna be one quiet crowd tomorrow.
Crowd or something. Yeah, it did not turn out very quiet.
Cloud9 has made, I think Jason called them, they've grown up. On a rush with an off angle, looking towards the Axe position. The Molotov comes in.
Stewie hitting the shots, he got hyped up by the casters and everything, but it was like he just had to hit a few shots and I had no time. I ran with bomb in hand from top mid to banana, 2 sides. I was just running with the freaking bomb trying to get it done, right? And I'm like, that's gonna be good.
Look at the time, there's 7 seconds to plant the bomb. They're trying to build pyramids, but there's no more play. Stewie's won the round. We're going to overtime.
There was like a chant going through my mind every time I think about Boston is to send them home.
Patiently, as Cloud9 sets the push up. Oh, it's happened.
Losing Boston definitely up there as one of the worst losses. There's a lot because of Guardian as well. He should have had a major, and Nico could have had a major. You know, it could have been very different storylines in Counter-Strike if we actually managed to close that out. Yeah, it hurts looking back at it, but I've had a lot of hurtful losses in finals.
Soon after,
Bro, karma, Rain. Karma, bro.
the team took a nosedive, which led the players, including Rain, to make irrational decisions that ended up resulting in Kerrigan being removed from the team.
Things aren't going well, they're unhappy. You can especially see it when they're going to an event and they really have to win it and they go out in the way they did. Very clear when Nico said like, oh, you know, like we're changing things, you know, Kerrigan's not going to be the IGL anymore. And
if Rain had a role in kicking me, for sure he had. He had a chance to step up and say, no, I wanted to keep Finn, but he didn't. And he learned his lesson.
Yeah, we lost trust in his vision, but at the same time it was, I don't know, it was a weird time, and we definitely handled that very wrongly in the team.
From that point, the 2018 FaZe roster never recovered.
Bro, this is dope, bro. This is dope to watch. Bro, imagine now they need to make a video about CS2 storylines. What storyline you gonna make? You got nothing, bro. You got nothing. Game is dry. CS2, bro.
Many changes happening to the team.
After we kicked him, there
was... CS2 is so good and in a great state that there's no content made about the game, that in 2025 people are making content still about CSGO. Cause the game sucks.
What, 3 years, 2 years of basically winning 2 Blast tournaments only.
But Rain remained the unchanging denominator. With the roster continuously shifting, he slowly started to transition into more of a supportive role.
I've become a lot more passive. I'm not the same straight up run and gun player I used to be. I wouldn't say I was never meant to be the star player. I think I was just the guy on the server that could always frag, you know?
It's a goal. Oh, was ein Schuss von Rain. Kriegt er noch den zweiten und den dritten. Rain eskaliert, macht sogar Kill Nummer 4.
And I
Look how crisp this is to watch, bro. How good this is to
if I
watch.
popped off, then the game would be very easy for us. So I think it's for the better of the team that I don't die senselessly a couple of times in a game. You can't afford it anymore.
Rain desperately wanted to improve, so much so that not only did he transform his playstyle, but his lifestyle as well.
Yeah, I used to be very overweight, and I think my highest weight point was 129 kilos. And I remember seeing myself in the mirror. I'm like, who the f is this guy? You know, I was down at 92 kilos, but by the summer that year. And once I lost all my weight, I wanted to get stronger, so I started eating more and getting bigger and bigger. Yeah. Now it's just more about being healthy for my son and making sure that I'm able to run after him and chase him around and show him the sports that I grew up with.
At the end of 2019, Brokey joined the team, and Rain believed he would be the next great opper. And he was right.
Oh, but Brokey with a huge kill off the sidearm. Oh!
CS2 nerfed the Brokey, bro.
Lofsky into the clutch, but he's taken down.
He's very different from many operas. I think I know where he is like 5% of the time, even if I play outside with him. So it's full chaos with him, but I think that's where he shines.
I know Rain is always sitting next to me, and when we play on the stage, so yeah, I've been like sitting next to me for a long time, so I'll give him a fist bump. That's gonna be motivation.
With Brokey's help, the team lifted a trophy once again. But the highs didn't last long due to one thing: COVID.
However, I regret to inform you, the viewer at home, that the public or in-arena audience, that has been canceled. That, for the time being, until further notice, has been canceled.
This was the online era, and it was detrimental to this international lineup.
Working your way up from sitting in your basement or in your room to get into the arenas and then having to go back to just sitting at home, playing at home, you don't get the same tournament feeling. So it was very hard.
As time went on, the team went through more changes.
Nico didn't see a future with FaZe back then, and to be fair, that's also at the point when he was leaving that I didn't know if I wanted to stay in FaZe as well. Things were not going in the right direction, it felt, and it was like spiraling out of control a little bit.
So with the departure of Olaf and Nico, they decided to add twist and bring back good old Kerrigan.
I think me and Finn have always kind of known we would play together again. We always liked each other. I always liked the way he was leading the team. He kind of got the best out of me as well in the way that he put me on the servers.
In 2021, it looked like they had all their pieces to be successful. But it wasn't until Robs joined in 22 that they finally cracked the code.
The highlight of my career.
Bro, Rob's the fixer. He fixed Vitality, he fixed FaZe. And you remember the time when everybody, me included, everybody thought Robs was shitty. He was so good at that point. You don't have that now in CS2. In CSGO, like he was, in CS2 you cannot outshine other players with your skill because how random run and gun the game is. Like even Zyvo didn't win in Vitality as much as he's winning now with Robs. So people say like the game is not random, look how Vitality is winning. Yes, but they have the 5, like let's say the 3 best players in the world. Like Apex best IGL, Robs, I'd even say he's better than Zyvo, and Zyvo in the top 3. So they have this, of course they're going to win. Spirit doesn't even have that. Okay, Falcons are now going to be better than Vitality, but in CSGO you could have Robs, I remember in FPL, destroying 1-on-4s, 1-on-3s, 1-on-5s. Like people were saying, I remember the clip, like Simple, don't go mid, Robs is not missing anything. And Simple goes mid with a deagle and kills Robs, and he's like, he missed. And it was like, with skill, it felt like back then in CSGO with skill, players could outperform other pros if they were so good. Now in CS2 you don't have anybody saying for another pro, oh he's cheating, unless the ones that are really cheating with the radar hack, and online that they use cheats, because it's now like very much known. Blur? It's very much known in pro scene that a lot of the dudes are cheating a lot, especially in the online games.
I'm just gonna do a year here. I'm gonna do 2022, or that roster. Winning all those tournaments, winning Katowice, even though I was in a hotel. At least I got to go down and have a few beers and celebrate with the guys, and feel like I was a little bit part of it at least.
From 10 for FaZe, they're on the way potentially to a Grand Slam, and they'll let Rain pick this one up. FaZe, your ESL Pro League champions.
Hello everyone and welcome to Antwerp for the PGL Major Grand Final.
Well, I just had a feeling, kind of unexplainable, but I told all my friends, just like, buy tickets to the Major, we're winning Antwerp 100%. And I just had that feeling going into the boot camp, going into the tournament. Every game I played, I just knew we were going to win.
And today we will crown our champion, one of FaZe or Navi.
Everybody knows the best player of Cisco was Simple.
I mean, I always remember when we were playing against Rain.
His opening and everything was so incredible.
He was just hitting so insane shots.
We knew it was going to be a hard game.
Yeah, he was just a headshot machine, you know.
Not bad at all! And Simple doesn't even click! 40 seconds, T-siding, that's the one! Bomb, trying every trick to recover, it has to be Rain! Looking for it! Oh! The ace! The ace, she doubted him! And he continues to prove us wrong!
As long as I was in the zone and doing my job and listening to Finn and listening to my teammates, we were going to win.
And Rain, he's not done! He gets his 30! And FaZe, 2 frags away!
Didn't really care too much about the MVP. It was just more about winning the Major and finally getting it, the trophy. I think it was after Antwerp that I said we're going to finish the season on 5th map, 16-14 versus Navi.
We have FaZe on one side, Navi on the other, and a grand final of proportions out of this world. Aggression, one from Simple, needs more from the heavens, and Rox has taken him down. Navi, nothing. FaZe Clan looking to do it, tagged up. Surely he can't hold his nerve. And another impossible clutch. 3 members of FaZe, they won't let this go. They will not.
Bro, I remember watching this live, bro.
All of the maps. And FaZe Clan complete the triple.
Thinking about it, I told my team, I told my wife, like, I imagine that end of the season, perfect game, a perfect final, right? And it happened. It's probably the best game I've ever been a part of, to be honest.
I'm looking forward to what's going to happen after the summer break. We're in for some amazing Counter-Strike, and this was the best ever grand final we had for a best of 5 by far.
Rain has spent most of his career trying to prove that an international roster could succeed. And in 2022, he did it. He proved it. It wasn't just a historic moment to write in the Counter-Strike history books, but a blueprint that the best teams in the world still follow today. In 2023, Rain with the rest of the team finally accomplished their ultimate goal, winning the Grand Slam. Since then, FaZe has experienced many ups and many downs. But one thing that has remained the same
is Rain.
Rain, the foundation of FaZe CS, and the member who's been with the team for over 9 years. Talk about dedication.
I mean, Rain has been here in FaZe since the start, so when they joined CS, he has been here forever. So I think he's the most important guy that has played in the team.
I enjoy playing with Howie.
Bro, Brookie got so fat and ugly, bro. Brookie got so fat and ugly. What happened to him, bro? Brookie was cute when I met him, like back in the days when he just joined FaZe. He was like his head wasn't round, bro. His head was like straight. He didn't have a double chin.
I enjoy playing with Howie. I think there's lots of things that I want to learn from him, I feel like. So, yeah, I'm happy to be around him.
Nobody hates Rain. I think when you hear from many players like Nico, Olof, and the Guardian that say Rain is the best teammate, there is something unique about him that's very hard to describe.
Oh, he's Norwegian god. He's too big, too strong, and yeah, and he's so calm as well. I feel like he brings confidence to the team.
I kind of think of the same way, and I like to play the same way he does. Confirmation to me that's, you know, it is a way to play, and it is a way you can play good. To me, it just gives more confidence to myself. That's the way I think is right, and seeing that in Howie, I think it gives some confidence to me as well.
My future in the next 5 years, considering the situation at home and how long my wife has been letting me do this and everything, I think within 5 years.
Bro, even his wife is, you know, holding him by the balls, you know, you see? So it's not only me who has to ask my wife if I can go pee and poop. He has to as well.
I'm not going to be playing anymore. I've had my fun at some point, and I also owe it to my wife and my family to be home, to watch my kids grow up and everything like that. So within 5 years I'll definitely be done. There's also a conversation I need to have with my wife to figure out the best time for me to hang up the mouse and figure out something else. So
Thank you, Rain. Yo, dope video. Am I subscribed this time? Dope video, bro. Dope video. Really nice video, bro. Really nice video.